No running, no touching the actor.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. And we want to hear you really scream.
Oh my God!
I've always wondered why people like to scare themselves.
How has Halloween become an industry that keeps fear relevant in our society? It seems kind of weird, right? Why would someone want to intentionally scare themselves?
Hi, is Doug around?
Can you take them through a couple spots through the haunt?
Between 80 and tonight we'll have 120
Actors?
actors.
Whoa.
So we have 144 rooms.
Oh my goodness, I did not realize he's that big.
There's four themes here. It's very large. This is the this is the movie theater area. There's a shower guy with this kind of body paint with nothing on comes out of here. And then he also fires off the firecrackers. In here to show you the electrical short. As you go into that room.
I've been doing it 9 years. My husband's been doing it since it began in 2001, so 18 years.
The really freaked out people I'll find, and I'll just follow them, and I'll get right in their face. Or sometimes I can just chase them because they're that scared. It's a lot of fun.
I wouldn't necessarily, I enjoy scaring people, but I enjoy entertaining people. And people do come here essentially to be entertained as well as to be scared.
Why do you like to scare other people?
It's just really fun, like seeing their different reactions and like the fear in their face. Fear is a very basic emotion. It doesn't have a physical, tangible place. So here, you can touch it, you can see it, it's actually there, so it puts fear in reality rather than this sort of place in our minds.
You know, just getting that adrenaline pumping, I think that's really what people are after when they come to stuff like this.
I can handle it sometimes.
I can't.
But like things like this, I can't.
Got roped
You only
into
live
it.
once.
So when a person is exposed to something scary, a part of the brain in the temporal lobe called amygdala activates hormones, and then the heart starts pounding, breathing gets heavier, so we get ready for a fight and flight experience.
The history of Halloween, it kind of goes back about 2,000 years. It goes back to an ancient Celtic holiday called Samhain. It was the time when they thought that the veil between worlds was at its thinnest, that things could cross over on that night. The evolution of the haunted house, it kind of started mainly in the 70s. There were a lot of church and charity groups that were putting on these little tiny haunted attractions. And in the 90s, you get people starting to do more of it in their own yards. By the time you get to 2000, there's a gigantic industry that's now about nothing but supplying these haunted houses.
You put this on every year?
Uh-huh.
What inspired you to do this?
We love Halloween.
Wow, so you guys have like a fog machine too?
Yeah, and lights. And when we first started, it wasn't like all that much. But then like as the years progressed, we started getting more and more, and it just like became this.
I just love Halloween. I love dressing up.
It's our favorite holiday.
I like having a scare. I like a scare. I like a good scare.
If you look at horror in Hollywood, especially the 30s and the 40s, a lot of it I would call psychological horror, where there are monsters and there are terrible things happening, but nothing graphic. So the production code really forced directors to be very careful about what they showed. But then when the production code fell away in the 1950s, The floodgates were opened to the representation of violence and to all kinds of horrific things that people in the 30s and 40s would never have imagined would ever be allowed on the screen.
So when it comes to real danger, almost all of us have the same fear reaction. And that is a balance between different parts of our psychological and brain function. Part is the animal brain. And that animal brain cannot differentiate much between a safe, scary, and real scary situation. But then the contextual and cognitive brain processes, well, we're safe and we are in control. So there's a balance between the feelings of something scary happening and your adrenaline rush and all the excitement feelings that you have in the body, and then the other part of the brain that says, well, we are safe and we are in control. People who get extremely terrified, it's hard for that brain to say, well, we are safe. We bring fear to our stories, the same way we bring romance to our stories, the same way we bring aggression to our stories, because these are parts of how we function. So fear would be in any story or experience or movie or entertainment experiences that we would create. We enjoy things that as humans we can relate to them.
I get the sense that people like to be disgusted sometimes. They like to feel that fear. So it's not just a negative thing that needs to be overcome, but that's part of the very fabric of what people enjoy. If you were to ask me why, I would point to the need to feel something. I would point to our knowledge that we're not really in any danger. There's not really anything disgusting in front of us. So it can be tremendously exciting.